I thought I was like trying to clean up food. Not compensated skills.
I don't take off for y'all's discoveries.
I'm just asking. I'm trying to do
Hope it is shock.
Yeah.
Death is caused by shock. What is shock?
Hypoperfusion.
Hypoperfusion. Let me on the picture.
Slippery.
Okay, so shock equals and hypoperfusion is what?
Inadequate.
Inadequate, that's a good word to start with. I-N-A-D, help me out. Inadequate. Inadequate. Inadequate what? Okay. Well, mad I vowel.
Q.
Delivery of
Oxygen.
oxygen and removal of waste. Exactly. Alright. So shock is hypoperfusion. Hypoperfusion is inadequate delivery of oxygen and removal of waste, which is also shock. Okay. The important thing for you to take away from this is shock is the inadequate delivery of oxygen and removal of wastes. Okay? Remember from that quiz that we're going to take over and over and over again, why is perfusion important?
Well, first off, cells are basically a small living part of the body, so
Right.
it makes up everything.
Right. Because without adequate perfusion, cells die. Okay?
Cells die.
And we have,
Organs
I'll get this wrong. We have cells
Or it's just
make organs, make people. Okay? So cells make tissues, tissues make organs, organs make organ systems, and organ systems make you. Alright? So when the cells die, tissues die, organs die, organ systems fail, and you fail too. Alright? That is why perfusion is important. Now that we have that out of the way, shock occurs in 3 distinct phases, and each of these phases will merge with each other. Okay? There is no real boundary between one phase and another. It's a gradual change. You're not immediate. It's like turning the dimmer switch rather than flipping the light switch. All right, it does change, but it does so, over time and not instantly. The first we have is called compensated shock. Okay. In compensated shock, the body recognizes a catastrophic event is occurring and will take steps to maintain blood pressure. All right. On that quiz, we got 3 parts of the circulatory system. And they are, number 1 is the
heart.
heart. 2 is the vessels, the closed circulation. Okay. Now, the reason I wrote this up here is because we're about to talk about decompensated shock. Shock is the inadequate delivery of oxygen and removal of waste. Okay, that is shock. When we're compensating for the shock, our body is enacting certain mechanisms which will allow for that perfusion to continue. Okay? In decompensated shock, our body is no longer able to maintain that. Alright? For example, okay. This is your ambulance at the medical center. Anyway, this is your ambulance at the medical center. Okay? Here's you. Okay?
It's Cliff again.
Oh, good God.
Okay?
Who the heck is my partner? Would I be hollering?
Wait a minute. We're getting there.
No, I need a partner in firefighters for that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Now, y'all who've been to the med know what I'm talking about. This may be a little exaggerated. Okay? But to get from your ambulance inside the emergency room, you have to go up a ramp. Okay? Hang on.
Yep. That ain't that bad. It's an incline.
Okay, huge patient. Alright. So, to get from your ambulance inside the emergency room, you have to go up this ramp. Okay? Now, in a normal everyday system, you and your partner would put forth equal effort to pull the really heavy stretcher up the ramp. Okay? Right? In a perfect world, y'all both get 50-50 and get up the ramp. Okay? Now, you have a starting partner, and he says, well, instead of giving you 50, I'm only going to give you 40. Okay? Which means now you have to give 60. So, what are you doing at this moment for him? Right. You are compensating for the deficiency of another part of the system. Alright, so you and him together are a system. Alright? His part of the system is failing. Alright, so your part of the system is now making up for what his part of the system is lacking. Make sense? Now, if he's only giving 40, you're giving 60, we can work with that. Don't like it, but we can work with that. What if he was only given 15? And you had to give 85.
We had a talk when we got back to the ambulance.
Alright? Not going to work, is
Over
it?
the pace.
Maybe for a minute or two.
We'd have patients that are sweating.
Right. Alright? That's one way to think about this. Let's go back to the original number. Right? We'll say instead of 50-50, he's given 40 and you're given 60. Alright? But instead of this ramp being 10 feet long, let's make this ramp 1 mile long. Alright? So in a perfect world, you're all both given 50-50. You can probably go up this ramp 1 mile long, right? But he's only given 40% and now you're going to have to give 60. Eventually, you equals fail. Right? Eventually, if you have to put out more than your fair share of effort for a long enough period of time, you are going to begin to decompensate. Right? Irreversible shock occurs when multiple organ systems start to fail. Okay, the cells are died, the organs are damaged, and they will not be able to recover. You know, you're going to have kidney failure, you have liver failure, so on and so on and so forth. So, even if you save this person in the field, if they've gone into irreversible shock, they're going to end up dying anyway. It may be a couple days later and then it's a kidney unit, but once they go into irreversible shock, they don't come out of it. They die of what's called multiple organ dysfunction syndrome, MODS. Alright, so we go from, I can do this, to getting kind of tired to, I can't do this anymore, and now all of a sudden,
The stretcher break.
the stretcher starts going backwards and runs you both over. Right? He's not pulling, you can't push, and now the whole thing's gone. That's your question.
Come on, man.
Does that make sense?
Question for you.